The Philippines stands at a crossroads, a pivotal moment that will define its path for decades to come. The decisions made today will shape the destiny of future generations, influencing not just politics, but the everyday lives of millions. One path continues its historic alliance with the United States, a relationship forged through shared history, military cooperation, and deep cultural connections. The other path leads toward China, which offers promises of massive economic investment, new infrastructure, and the allure of rapid modernization. This is more than a foreign policy choice. It's a question of national identity, sovereignty, and the Philippines' evolving place in a rapidly shifting world order. The U.S. alliance has long provided a sense of security, especially in the contested waters of the South China Sea, where tensions often run high. Yet China's economic rise and its geographic proximity make its offer increasingly difficult to ignore, especially as trade and investment opportunities grow. For a nation eager for progress, China's proposal of roads, bridges, and expanded trade is undeniably tempting, promising jobs and development. Yet, ongoing maritime disputes with China complicate the decision, raising fears of lost territory, diminished sovereignty, and the erosion of hard-won rights. Every move toward Beijing could distance Manila from Washington, with profound consequences for national security, economic stability, and daily life. This story explores the potential benefits like economic growth, new opportunities, and a modernized nation, and the risks, including the possible loss of sovereignty, strained alliances, and the uncertainty of relying on new partners. Filipinos are deeply divided, and the choice will not only shape their own future, but also influence the entire region's geopolitical landscape for years to come. The stakes could not be higher, as the nation stands on the edge of a decision that will echo through history. China's offer to the Philippines is more than just financial aid. It's a comprehensive blueprint for a new regional order, one that places Beijing firmly at the center of Asia's future. This isn't simply about loans or investments, it's about reshaping alliances, influence, and the very identity of the region. The Belt and Road Initiative promises not only high-speed railways, ports, airports, and power grids, but also a vision of rapid modernization for the Philippines. These projects are designed to transform daily life, connect distant provinces, and create new economic opportunities for millions of Filipinos. China also opens the door to its vast consumer market, offering a chance for Philippine exports and tourism to flourish. Technology transfer is part of the deal too, with advancements in 5G, renewable energy, and digital infrastructure that could leapfrog the Philippines into a new era of connectivity and sustainability. This deepening economic integration is designed to foster mutual dependence, ensuring that prosperity is shared and long-lasting. It's a strategy that weaves the two countries' futures together, making their success increasingly intertwined. But there's a catch. China expects more than gratitude. Political cooperation is a key condition, especially when it comes to managing the sensitive South China Sea disputes. Beijing prefers bilateral talks over international courts, seeking to keep negotiations within the region. The message is clear. Economic benefits are closely tied to political alignment. Accepting China's offer means accepting its terms, both seen and unseen. China frames this approach as Asian solutions for Asian problems, appealing to regional pride, shared history, and a desire for autonomy from Western influence. It's a call for unity and self-determination among Asian nations. Accepting the offer signals a shift toward an Asia-centric identity, one that is less reliant on the West and more invested in regional partnerships and shared destiny. It's a holistic package: economic growth, political alignment, and a new geopolitical orientation, all bundled together as part of a grand vision for the future of Asia. The Philippines must carefully weigh the promise of progress and prosperity against the price of partnership and the potential loss of independence. The decision will shape not just the nation's economy, but its identity and place in the world for generations to come. Embracing China could spark rapid economic growth for the Philippines. Infrastructure projects, bridges, railways, ports, could transform the country in a decade, improving daily life and attracting global investment. Preferential access to China's market would boost incomes for farmers and manufacturers, while more Chinese tourists would revitalize local businesses. This influx of capital could create jobs and lift millions out of poverty. Closer ties might also ease South China Sea tensions, allowing for joint resource development and reducing military standoffs. Diplomatic flexibility would increase, letting the Philippines hedge between major powers and negotiate better deals. By balancing relationships, the country could enhance its global standing and independence. The potential for prosperity is real, but so are the risks. The allure of Chinese investment comes with serious risks. Many projects are funded by loans, raising fears of a debt trap that could force the Philippines to cede control of strategic assets. Sovereignty is at stake. Closer ties may require Manila to soften its stance on the South China Sea, risking territorial rights. Chinese-built infrastructure could have dual military uses, giving Beijing a foothold in the archipelago. Pivoting to China would strain, if not sever, the U.S. alliance, leaving the Philippines without a clear security guarantee. Domestically, large opaque deals could fuel corruption and bring in Chinese labor, sparking social resentment. Environmental damage from rapid construction is another concern. These risks could deepen divisions and undermine stability. The promise of prosperity must be balanced against the potential loss of independence and security. The stakes are nothing less than the nation's future. A Philippine pivot to China would trigger a swift, negative response from the United States. Washington would see it as a strategic loss, undermining its Indo-Pacific strategy and credibility. Expect a diplomatic chill, suspension of military agreements, and withdrawal of U.S. forces and aid. Joint military exercises and intelligence sharing would end, leaving the Philippines less prepared to defend itself. Economic repercussions could follow, with reduced investment and support from American companies and agencies. The U.S. would also work to isolate the Philippines diplomatically, strengthening ties with other regional allies. Exclusion from new security groupings would leave Manila outside the emerging regional order. Instead of a valued partner, the Philippines could be seen as unreliable, fundamentally altering its international standing. The cost of shifting alliances would be immediate and profound. The Philippines' move toward China would reverberate across Southeast Asia, sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles and regional alliances. Countries like Vietnam and Malaysia, with their own disputes with China, would see it as a blow to regional unity and ASEAN's bargaining power. Their leaders might worry that the Philippines' shift could embolden China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, making it harder for smaller nations to negotiate as a bloc. Vietnam might deepen ties with the US and other powers, seeking new security guarantees, while pro-China states like Cambodia would feel vindicated in their alignment with Beijing, possibly encouraging them to further support China's regional ambitions. ASEAN could fracture, forcing nations to pick sides in the intensifying US-China rivalry. The organization's ability to present a united front would be severely tested, and internal divisions could deepen. Japan and Australia, invested in regional security, would view the shift as a dangerous precedent and double down on alliances with wary Southeast Asian states. They might increase military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and joint exercises to reassure partners and deter further instability. European powers, committed to freedom of navigation, would see the move as a setback and align more closely with the US. They could issue joint statements, increase naval patrols, and push for international dialogue to uphold maritime law. The region would become more polarized, with the Philippines' decision accelerating the great power competition and making diplomatic compromise even more elusive. The dream of ASEAN centrality would fade, replaced by a divided and contested landscape, where trust is eroded and cooperation is harder to achieve. The Philippines' choice would reshape not just its own future, but the entire regional order, altering the balance of power for years to come. The world would be watching, as the consequences of this decision unfold on the global stage. The China question divides the Philippines deeply. One camp, led by pragmatic business interests, sees Chinese investment as a chance to escape poverty and modernize. They argue that confrontation with China is futile and that economic development must come first. Opposing them are nationalists and defense officials, who view China as a threat to sovereignty and advocate for a strong U.S. alliance. For them, economic gains are not worth surrendering territory or dignity. Ordinary Filipinos are split. Some welcome jobs and infrastructure, while others, especially those affected by Chinese actions at sea, distrust Beijing. Activists and the middle class rally for sovereignty and democratic values, organizing protests and demanding government action. The debate is fierce, and any move toward China risks significant public backlash. The nation's future hinges on how these voices are heard and balanced. The Philippines' best path may be a careful balancing act, not a total embrace of either China or the US. maintaining a strong security alliance with the US, while pursuing pragmatic economic ties with China, is a difficult but necessary strategy. This requires investing in national defense, not to provoke, but to deter aggression and strengthen negotiating power. Domestic reforms, fighting corruption and improving governance, are essential to ensure foreign investment benefits all Filipinos. Compartmentalizing economic cooperation from sensitive security issues is key. Chinese investment should be welcomed in non-strategic sectors, but critical infrastructure must be protected. On the South China Sea, Manila must defend its rights under international law while seeking practical cooperation. The U.S. alliance should be modernized, with clear commitments and Philippine independence asserted. By keeping open lines with both powers, the Philippines can leverage its position and avoid becoming a pawn. The challenge is immense, but so is the opportunity. The Philippines faces a defining choice, with consequences for its people and the region. Embracing China offers rapid development but risks debt, lost sovereignty, and weakened security ties with the U.S. Rejecting China means missing economic opportunities and living with constant tension. The answer lies in strategic balance, strengthening institutions, diversifying partnerships, and pursuing a principled, pragmatic foreign policy. Engage China on trade, stand firm on sovereignty, and modernize the U.S. alliance without sacrificing autonomy. National unity is crucial to navigate these challenges. With courage and foresight, the Philippines can secure a future as a sovereign, stable, and respected nation. The road ahead is clear. The choice will define the Philippine story for the 21st century.